Hello, and thank you for joining me today. This past tax season, I have received a number of new clients, and these are mostly startup businesses, new businesses, and I think that's great. During the pandemic of 2020, we saw people get very creative, and there were a number of small businesses that were in queue or in process before 2020, and folks, of course, had to rethink how they were doing things or maybe postpone their startup. But I want to talk just a little bit about what I was seeing as a trend and how I think we can maybe deal with this. What I noticed among many of these startup businesses is a high amount of startup costs. And it looked to me as though people were trying to get everything together, invest a lot of money into getting things off the ground. Whether that be an intense amount of social media and website development or a lot of training, high cost for training. And this seemed to rattle me almost, in the sense that something just didn't seem right. Now, I realize that there's a lot of expense that goes into starting a business, or at least there can be. Certain businesses that you start are very expensive to get off the ground. We could be talking about someone who has to purchase a backhoe and a bulldozer to get a land clearing business started. Certainly that is expensive, and it's justified to see that. But starting a business from your home, especially if it is web-based or a service, I don't know that every business needs to have a lot of startup costs. And what I would say to that is, I think that it's almost backwards what I'm seeing. When I think about starting a business, the first thing that comes to my mind is let's get profitable, or I want to do this because I don't want to work for someone anymore. And my first instinct is to be profitable, to not have a lot of expenses, but to focus on getting income and getting revenue. What I was seeing over the last year is that so many people were focusing on putting together everything that they needed before they even got any clients. And I'm not sure that this is poising them for the best long-term success. When I started my tax business, I was definitely focusing on having it be a long-term generator of my family's income. But I was also trying to keep an eye towards not going broke in my first year. So yes, there was software, there was liability insurance to purchase. I did some marketing, but I was focused on working with people that I knew to try to get clients and use that as a way of building my client base. I could have very easily gone way overboard with my startup costs. But again, I was focusing on making this thing to be profitable and adding other costs as I went. And I think for most new small businesses, people that are just starting out and trying to get a business started, the focus really needs to be on getting the clients and generating income before you spend $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 to get a business off the ground. Again, some businesses have a high startup cost, and I'm not necessarily saying that this is a one-size-fits-all. But in many of the cases that I saw this past tax season, these businesses could have done much better without such a high overhead, such a high amount of startup costs. So I'm not sure where this is coming from. I don't know if they're reading somewhere that in order to start a business, you need to spend a certain amount of money, or you need to have a lot of things together. I suspect it comes from a lack of business coaching, someone holding hands with them and just explaining how they can start a business and make it profitable and start small and grow into something that maybe can at some point replace your main income. So this is, I guess, more of a business coaching video than it is a tax video. That when you're thinking about starting a business, think first about getting your clients and about generating income. A lot of small businesses that I know got started somewhat by total accident. They were hoping to get something started on the side, but people would ask them, hey, would you do my taxes, or would you list my house, or would you do some odd jobs for me? And one thing led to another, and they were generating income before they were really incurring a lot of startup costs. If you generate income, then you have a source of money that you can use to purchase and add what you need. So again, when I started my tax business, I was only buying what I needed to do the work, and I wasn't doing anything more than that. Some of my clients, because it was expensive for me to buy prior year software, I was actually doing old year tax returns by hand. I know that sounds crazy, but for me to do some of the client work would have meant that I would have had to spend a lot more than the client was paying me, and it just did not seem to make sense. Likewise, I was not putting out webinars. I was not doing social media marketing, and those are things that I have added since then, because I see that I can reach more people, such as through video like this. And then I will experiment with things that cost money. But I'm paying for that out of the revenue that I'm generating from clients. And hopefully that makes sense. So this is, I guess, Business Coaching 101. When you're starting a small business, think revenue first. Don't think about everything I need and everything I might possibly need to do the work. Because what if it doesn't succeed? Then you've spent a lot of money and you really haven't gotten anywhere. I've even seen people think, well, I need to rent a storefront, I need to rent an office, and I need to go through all this. What you really need is revenue first. Grow into the other things later. So I'll wrap it up and close it there. I hope that this has been somewhat helpful for you. I definitely applaud people who want to start a business. And I know that in our current climate, everything that's going on, people are trying to think about how I can spend more time with my children and my family. And starting a business lets me get away from a corporate schedule, lets me be more flexible. So I definitely want to see folks pursue their passions and also achieve their goals and what's most important to them. But it doesn't have to be done in a way that breaks the bank and spends money when money does not need to be spent. Focus on the revenue and grow into the rest. Thanks for watching. This is Joseph Ritter, Certified Financial Planner, Enrolled Agent at Somerset Tax Partners. And if you found this to be helpful and you'd like us to come alongside you, we would certainly be welcome to do that. Give us a ring at 1-866-862-2220, or drop us a line at joe@somersettaxpartners.com. Thank you.